Hello and welcome back, my future economists. It's Rachel, and today we are going to break down a topic that is quite literally the foundation of your macroeconomics paper: national income. Let's dive in. Okay, first things first. We have to build our foundation with the three big concepts you are going to see everywhere: aggregate output, national income, and aggregate consumption. Honestly, mastering these three will give you a huge advantage. So let's kick things off with aggregate output, but you'll almost always see it called GDP. That's gross domestic product. The simplest way to think about it is this: GDP is everything a country produces. All the cars, all the food, all the software, everything made inside that country's borders. It's a really powerful number, but just remember, it's not a perfect measure of how well people are doing. It doesn't really tell us about things like inequality or pollution. Okay, next up we have national income. So, if GDP is what a country produces, then national income is what that country's people earn. It's a grand total of every single salary, every business profit, and every bit of rent that the people of a nation collect. It doesn't matter if they earned it at home or somewhere else in the world. And the final piece of our puzzle is aggregate consumption. This is basically the engine of the economy. It's everything that all the households in the country are planning to spend. So just imagine your family's budget for groceries, for transport, for going out, and now multiply that by millions. So you see how it all connects? The economy produces things, people earn money from that, and then they spend that money. It's one big cycle. All right, so now we get what these things are, but how do we actually measure all of this? I know this is the part where some people get a little nervous about the math, but seriously, don't be. Just think of these formulas as your toolkit. They're the special instruments you're going to use to understand the economy and, of course, ace those calculation questions. And here it is. This is the big one, the absolute cornerstone, the GDP expenditure formula. It is by far the most common way to figure out a country's total output. Let's say it out loud. C plus I plus G plus X minus M. You have got to know this by heart. It's non-negotiable. What's so great about this formula is that it perfectly breaks down the whole economy. C is that consumption we just talked about, everything we spend as households. I is investment. That's all the spending by businesses on new factories and equipment. G is government spending on things like roads and schools. And finally, you have X minus M, which is net exports. Basically, what we sell to the world minus what we buy from it. Okay, theory is cool and all, but let's be real. Application is everything when that exam paper is in front of you. So let's see how these ideas get tested by the big three: WAEC, JAMB, and NECO. We're going to walk through and solve some classic questions right now. All right, check this out. This is a classic calculation question you could totally see on a WAEC paper. They give you two equations and ask for the equilibrium income. So what's equilibrium? It's just that sweet spot where what's being demanded in the economy is exactly the same as what's being supplied. So the most important thing to do is to set the two equations equal to each other. We have 200 plus 0.8y equals y. Now, to solve this, we just need to get all the y's on one side. So we subtract 0.8y from y, which gives us 0.2y. And now the equation looks really simple, right? 200 equals 0.2y. The very last step, just divide 200 by 0.2. And boom, there we have it. The equilibrium income y is 1,000 units. See? Not so scary, right? The real key is just to practice this method over and over until setting AD equal to AS becomes second nature. Okay, let's switch gears and look at a JAM-style question. Now, this one isn't about math. It's about logic. It's about understanding how all these pieces fit together. So what happens to the total demand in an economy when the government starts spending more money? Come on, think back to our big formula. The correct answer is B. And why? Well, it all comes back to our formula. GDP equals C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Government spending, that's G, it's a huge part of the equation. So if you increase G, you are going to increase the total demand in the economy. And on a graph, any increase means a shift to the right, which in turn pushes up both national output and the overall prices. And now for a typical NECO theory question. These questions are all about testing your ability to define the big economic ideas really, really precisely. So what exactly is a recessionary gap? Here you go. This is your perfect exam-ready definition. A recessionary gap is when the economy just isn't living up to its full potential. Think of it like this. It's a car that could be going 100 kilometers per hour, but it's only going 70. Why? Because there just isn't enough total spending, that's aggregate demand, to buy all the stuff the economy could be producing. And the result of that, you get higher unemployment and slower growth. Okay, we've covered the main ideas and we've put them into practice with real exam questions. Now, for our final section, let's go over some pro tips that are going to help you squeeze out every possible mark on exam D. Let's do a super fast recap. Ready? GDP is what's produced, national income is what's earned, equilibrium is where demand equals supply, and never, ever, ever forget that magic formula. C plus I plus G plus X minus M. These are the absolute must-know essentials. Here's a very specific tip just for your WAEC essays. The second you see a question on national income, I want you to write that formula down before you even write your first sentence. It's a massive signal to the examiner that you know what you're talking about. It's an easy mark and it helps you structure your whole answer. And for JAMB, a critical speed tip. Because you're always racing the clock, you need to quickly figure out what kind of question you're looking at. Is it about a single person or a single company? That's microeconomics. Is it about the whole country's unemployment or inflation or GDP? That's macroeconomics. This little check saves you precious time and gets your brain on the right track instantly. So, I'm going to leave you with a little something to think about. We know that if the government builds a new road, G in our formula goes up. But what's the final total impact on national income? Think bigger than just the money spent on the road. What happens when the construction workers get paid? They go out and spend that money, right? This is a little clue about a very powerful idea called the multiplier effect. And that's a wrap for today. I really hope this lesson has made national income feel a lot less intimidating. Keep practicing these concepts. I promise it will pay off. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to www.examkp.com for more of these exam masterclasses. Stay focused, work hard, and I'll see you in the next one.